Hi! One of the most popular videos I've had on my channel is my rack preamp shootout, which I did a little while ago when I knew basically nothing about making YouTube videos, nothing about cameras, nothing about audio, and I've got a lot of great feedback on that video and a bunch of suggestions. Mostly people asking why I didn't include certain classic preamps, particularly why I didn't include a MESA TRIAXIS. Well, I didn't include a TRIAXIS because I didn't own one, but now that I own one, I want to redo this preamp shootout and compare these preamps with the TRIAXIS. So I have a MYASNIKOV Soldano clone preamp, an original 88 MP1. This is actually my dad's MP1. He bought it new back in the 80s. He sold it to my uncle. My uncle sold it back to me when I got into playing guitar. So this is Ridgy Didge. Then we've got a PEAVEY ROCKMASTER, a ROCKTRON PIRANHA, a Marshall JMP1, and in another rack, the TRIAXIS. So what I'm going to do in this video is to compare all of these in a track. We're basically going to hear like a hard rock riff, then a kind of clean section, then a lead part, then like a kind of 7-string djenty kind of thing, just for something modern. And the idea with all of this is you'll hear each preamp back to back in the context of a track. I'm running all of this into a MESA Stereo 250, then into a Marshall 412 with vintage 30s that I've just mic'd with an SM57, so pretty standard. The 57's going into my UAD Apollo Twin. I'm running some of the Neve preamp unison technology straight into Pro Tools. I'm basically just using some high and low pass on everything, and I've tried to normalize all the audio to keep it fair. So that sounds pretty fair. What I do want to do though is talk about the guitars I'm using as well. I'm using a PRS SC245 for the lead stuff. I'm using our YJM Strat for the cleans. I'm using a Bacchus T7 for the djenty bits, and I am using my Hamer Standard, which has a Seymour Duncan EVH pickup in the bridge position for the rock riffs, using Slate SSD 5 for drums, using my Jazz Bass for bass. Let's go. Hopefully that clip demonstrates that one preamp is not necessarily better than the other, but they all have a unique voice. Something like the SLO clone only really does one thing. It's basically dirty all the time. Doesn't really have a clean sound. I just set the gain like just past 0 and use a Strat with really low output pickups just to get that clean sound, and even then it was pretty gritty. Whereas something like the 88 clean, it's compressed, it's clean, it just doesn't distort at all. Same thing with the distortion channels. You know, something like the Piranha kind of has this beefy low mid sort of thick fuzz about it, whereas something like the TRIAXIS is really surgical and tight and clinical. And contrast that again with something like the ROCKMASTER, which has a massive range with that active EQ on the gain channels. So each of these would be good in different musical applications, although I would have to say that if I just wanted one really great rock sound, I would go with the SLO clone over just about anything else. If I wanted 4 or 5 really, really good sounds, I'd go with the TRIAXIS, because in this clip, you know, I used lead 1 red for the sort of chunky rhythm stuff. I used lead 2 red for the djenty thing. I used lead 2 yellow for the smooth lead, and then I used the orange clean channel for the clean parts. And you know, I would have to say that that TRIAXIS yellow lead 2 mode is easily my favorite lead sound, but all the other preamps had a great thing going on. Like the ROCKMASTER was beautiful, and the JMP1 was really nice and smooth on the OD2 channel, whereas for rhythm stuff, OD1 was very, very JCM 800-ish. So yeah, the ADA sort of does the Vito Bratta, Rat, White Lion, I already mentioned White Lion, didn't I? Early Racer X kind of thing. So if you want that kind of, I don't know how I'd describe that sound. You know, it's sort of got this mid-scoop thing happening like a MESA-Mark series, but it's got way more hair like a Marshall. So that's a pretty cool preamp. They're all really good preamps, but if I could only choose 2 of them, for example, like I said, I'd probably go with the SLO clone, and then I go with the TRIAXIS. You know, there's a reason people absolutely love the TRIAXIS, and I think this clip demonstrates that, because not only is it versatile, all the sounds are good, all the sounds are usable, and it pairs up really well with a 6L6 power amp. If you only needed a couple of sounds, maybe a JMP1 would be a better thing, especially if you're coming from like a classic rock Marshall kind of background. If you just need one really, really good distorted lead sound, the SLO clone's great. The ROCKMASTER, I think, punches well above its reputation. You know, that thing's an absolute beast. And the Piranha really surprised me. If I was doing like a grunge thing and I wanted a rack preamp, you know, say Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, I'd probably go with the Piranha. It had this beautiful low mid voicing. So I think that sums up all the preamps. TRIAXIS, JMP1, SLO clone, Piranha, 88, obviously for the 80s thing, and if you want chorus. And I feel like I'm missing one out here. Where's my rack? ROCKMASTER, Piranha, JMP1, ADA, SLO clone, TRIAXIS. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and put up with my rambling. If you've got any comments about what preamp you preferred or what preamps you're using, or any other preamps that I should check out coming up in the new year, please let me know in the comments. This was a whole lot of fun to do, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.